watching Primetime. I'm Tamanna.
And my name is Ayush. Let's have a look at today's headlines. A day after the Karnataka verdict, the state is no closer to forming a government. Both the BJP and the JDS Congress combined meet the governor of Karnataka to make their case, even as the JDS accuses the BJP of horse trading.
CBI files its second charge sheet in the PNB fraud case. It names jeweler Mehul Choksi, his companies and 18 individuals, including former PNB CEO Usha Anantha Subramanian.
Tata Steel's profit tops estimates once on one-time gain, while Hindalco's profit falls the most in 9 quarters. ITC's bottom line rises in line with estimates, even as margins improve.
The political uncertainty in Karnataka drags Indian equities lower. Nifty dropped 60 points. The rupee recovers on RBI intervention. While government formation in Karnataka continues to be a thriller-minute drama, JDS leader H.D. Kumaraswamy alleged that BJP offered 100 crore rupees to MLAs of his party, a charge that the BJP has dismissed. Both sides met the governor today to make the case for them to be invited to form the government. Here's a snapshot of the intense political drama through the day.
They are approaching our MLAs. They only, no, several MLAs. Several MLAs they are approaching from yesterday evening. One cabinet rank and huge money.
100 crore, 200 crore figures are not only imaginary, but that is what JDS and Congress does politics through. We are not in a habit of doing horse trading in any kind.
Majority of our MLAs, newly elected MLAs are here.
Okay.
Few have to come. They are on the way. They will join us.
Our legislature party, they have unanimously taken decision, has elected me as the legislature party leader. I have just handed over that copy to the governor, and I requested him as early as possible to allow me to take oath as Chief Minister of Karnataka.
Now, Bloomberg Quint's Nishant Sharma has been tracking all the developments in the race to form Karnataka's government. Here's a ground report from Bengaluru.
Well, the political drama in Bengaluru continues to unfold. The day started with BJP leader Yedurappa meeting with the governor and appealing to him that they should be allowed to form the government in the state, given that they are the single largest party in the state. Followed by hours later, JDS leaders and Congress leader visited Raj Bhavan after repeated attempt to fix an appointment with the governor, and also handed him a letter with the signatures of 115 MLAs saying that they have the majority, the much needed majority to form the government in the state, and also saying that all the MLAs have agreed for Kumaraswamy to become the chief minister of the state. Now, the ball clearly lies in the court of governor, and only time will tell whether it's going to be the Congress, JDS alliance, or it's going to BJP eventually, which is going to run the state.
Well, Dhanya Rajendra, editor-in-chief at the News Minute, joins us now from Bengaluru, and perhaps the one journalist who knows every twist and turn in what is happening next in Karnataka before everyone else. Dhanya, thank you for speaking with us on Primetime this evening. Give us the inside story. With what confidence and on what basis is Mr. Yediyurappa claiming that he is going to swear in as Chief Minister tomorrow? Have they managed to wean away enough MLAs to their side?
I don't think they have the numbers yet, Tamanna, and I don't think they are appearing as confident as they were today morning, for instance. So if you look at the numbers, there is no way that that simply getting over 8 MLAs to their side is not going to help the BJP. Because the moment these MLAs cross vote, anti-defection laws will apply, and disqualified, in fact, not going to help the BJP's cause. For them to actually ensure that they win the vote of confidence in the assembly, they have to bring down the halfway mark to at least 104 or 105. 204 or 205. And for this, they will have to make at least 14 to 15 MLAs resign or abstain from voting. So I'm not sure if they have that kind of numbers with them. They were seemingly confident in the morning, but by today evening, the tone seems to have changed. They're, of course, hoping that if the swearing-in ceremony is after 2 or 3 days, by then they would be able to win over these 15 MLAs.
The man of the moment in Karnataka seems to be Governor Vajubhai Vala. Now, in terms of the developments from today, we know that the Congress JDS combined have met him, as has B.S. Yediyurappa. Now, what are you hearing from the Raj Bhavan? Now, what the last bit of news that we got is essentially that he will be seeking legal opinion to figure out what the Constitution says in this matter.
So we are hearing that he has already taken legal opinion, and there could be a press statement any time from now from the governor officially inviting B.S. Yediyurappa to for the swearing-in ceremony tomorrow. This is what sources in the governor's office and the BJP are saying. But actually, they've been saying this since morning. It's only now that they now tell the media that it will happen at 8 o'clock, it will happen at 9 o'clock. But I believe it has to happen today if the swearing-in ceremony has to take place tomorrow. The BJP seems confident that the governor's invite will come, and then they will be able to get at least 15 MLAs before the vote of confidence.
Tell me something, Dhanya. At the end of the day, it will come down to a floor test. And as you said, that the BJP will have to get a significant number of MLAs to not turn up on D-Day. How is the Congress and JDS so sure that they're going to keep them together? Because beyond a point, locking them up in a resort is not going to help.
Well, Tamanna, I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to lock up these people, even if it's for 7 days or 10 days. They're going to ensure that these people do not leave the resort. From what we know, out of 78 MLAs in the Congress, around 74 have come now. It seems like 2 of the people, Nagendra and Anand Singh from the Congress, seems to have defected. At least they are incommunicado, and the BJP is also seemingly confident that they have jumped ship. So 2 definitely have gone away from the Congress. There could be more. We're hearing that the number could go up to 5. But like I said, 5 is simply not enough. The BJP needs to notch up its numbers. And what the BJP did not expect, perhaps, is how aggressive the JDS and the Congress will become. When people like B.K. Shivkumar, H.D. Kumaraswamy have all warned the BJP that if they try poaching from the Congress or the JDS, they would do the same back to the BJP.
Right. No telling when this entire story will come to its conclusion, but Dhanya Rajendran there with a very important input that it's possible the governor makes his decision tonight itself. Thank you so much for all of those details.
Thank you.
Now, 2 days after CBI filed its first charge sheet in the PNB fraud case, today the Central Investigative Agency filed a second charge sheet against jeweler Mehul Choksi and his companies. The charge sheet also names former and current officials of Punjab National Bank. Charlene D'Souza joins us now with more details. Charlene, can you give us details of who is named in the charge sheet and the key points that have come about?
Yeah, so the Central Bureau of Investigation today filed its second charge sheet in the CBI Special Court, and this charge sheet names 18 people as accused, and these include 10 PNB officials. Now, Mehul Choksi, who, like his nephew Nirav Modi, has been named as a wanted accused in this charge sheet for committing a fraud to the tune of 7,080 crores. Now, Usha Anand Subramanian, who was the former MD and CEO of PNB Bank, has also also been named as the accused in this charge sheet, along with executive directors KV Brahmaji Rao and Sanjeev Saran. These three were named in the first charge sheet as well. Now, this charge sheet states that the accused Gokulnath Shetty has also been arrested by the CBI, debited rupees 2.28 crores to Gitanjali Exports, and then got kickbacks to the tune of rupees 1 crores. This was during the period of 2015 and 2017. Now, the supplementary charge sheet is based on statements from 50 witnesses, the official said, adding that the investigative agency has found evidence of 6 FLCs and 6 LOUs worth rupees 512 crores. Now, CBI's investigation revealed that the fraud was allegedly perpetrated despite the knowledge of senior officials of the Punjab National Bank who did not implement the circulars and caution notices issued by the Reserve Bank of India regarding safeguarding the SWIFT operations, and instead misrepresented the factual situation to the RBI. It also revealed that the then Deputy Managing Editor of Punjab National Bank, Brady House Branch, Mumbai, had allegedly obtained illegal gratification in return for the favor of issuing fraudulent LOUs and FLCs.
All right, thank you so much for those details, Charlene D'Souza there, talking about what the charge sheet has said in the PNB case. But Punjab National Bank, which is at the epicenter of the fraud, reported a $2 billion loss yesterday, the biggest quarterly loss in the history of Indian banking. A 14% drop in share prices earlier today suggested that investors expected worse to come. So what happens to India's second largest state-run lender after the fraud? To talk more on that, we're joined now by K. Subramanian, Associate Professor of Finance and Executive Director at the Center for Analytical Finance. Thank you so much, Mr. Subramanian, for speaking with us. You know, there's this very interesting piece on BloombergQuint.com today, written by Andy Mukherjee, where he suggests that the government should step in and pretty much stop Punjab National Bank from lending to anyone except the government itself. Would you agree with that view?
So before I come to that, measure, let me just point out that the problems that we've witnessed at Punjab National Bank are not just one of a kind. Actually, these are systemic. These relate to aspects that need to be corrected on the governance front in public sector banks. Of late, because of some of the happenings in the private sector banks, I think some of the attention relating to the governance problems in the public sector banks had sort of gone into the background. But I think the current sort of round of losses has really brought the attention back onto the governance problems. There are several stakeholders that need to be questioned here. The auditors, I've written about this in an op-ed in the Times of India, the board, the audit committee. There are several aspects and what you have to keep in mind is that, there may be more losses coming, because of the 2 billion losses, only 1 billion has been provisioned for. There's a very high likelihood that Punjab National Bank may not, fulfill the Basel norms for capital, and therefore may have to go into prompt corrective action. If they have to go to prompt corrective action, then they definitely will not be able to lend any further, because the additional risk, the capital that will be required for that they will not have the cushion for that. As a result, they will be restricted to lending. So I think it may be not just the government, but even the regulator, Reserve Bank of India, would actually be sort of interested in forcing Punjab National Bank to go into prompt corrective action, much like some of the other banks that are actually sort of very low on capital, and that would be the right thing to do. The only problem that will create, though, is that when you have the second largest bank in the country actually not able to lend, then the effect that will create on growth would be substantial. And that's something that we cannot sort of ignore. But, I have to reiterate that, I've sent it on several forums and written, several times as well, that these are problems that are actually more systemic. It is not about just one bank. Back in 2014 itself, we had pointed out the kind of stress that is there in the banks, public sector banks, and related it to the governance. To me, this is a symptom of the problems of governance.
You know, just to take that thought forward, Mr. Subramanian, if these are systemic issues and if, as you're saying, the right way forward would be to curtail lending at Punjab National Bank, then how far would that decision spread to other public sector banks as well? And can the government right now really afford to do that?
No, but in some sense, see the government and the regulator now are sort of caught between a rock and a hard place, because if you allow for allow lending, then the capital, it will require capital. Lending will, based on Basel norms, will require capital, and Punjab National Bank is short of capital. Short of trying to provide another capital infusion apart from the 800 odd million that was given during the capital infusion that was provided last year. There is no other way to sort of to allow Punjab National Bank to lend, because without capital there is no way they can lend. But I again will say this is again an opportunity to clean up the governance. Otherwise, just focusing on Punjab National Bank and trying to actually correct the issues, I think it will basically be short-termist. It's important to take a long-run perspective on the public sector banks. And while our the NIC committee's report did not advocate privatization, definitely what it did advocate was actually bringing in governance reforms in spirit, and that is what the government needs to do urgently.
Right, Mr. Subramanian, since you were talking about systemic issues, and I'm guessing some of them have to do with the SWIFT system and in terms of the CBS linkage as well, and also the governance issues. If you could, as a last question, just elaborate on some of those things that you think need to be changed and perhaps overall need to be addressed in the system.
Yeah, see, I think that's an excellent point that you've raised. That the fact that the SWIFT system was actually not talking to the core banking system. Typically the way it would happen in a bank is because these are these are transactions that actually are being done to a borrower. And remember, these are fee-based transactions. And whenever there is a fee-based transaction that actually shows up in the financial statements, it should show up as in the profit and loss account. So the auditors should have picked it up. The auditors did not pick it up. Second, the fact that the SWIFT transactions were not being entered through CBS provided the opportunity for individuals to actually play around with this. The third aspect, which is important, is in many private sector banks, international finance transactions typically happen, are centralized, are done just in one branch actually. So all branches route their transactions to to that branch, and that branch then executes it, which enables a lot better monitoring of the international finance transactions. Because that is a problem. I would go back to actually think about some of the movies that we used to watch. With Amitabh Bachchan movies, saying if it was a smuggler, actually when somebody asked him what business do you do, it'd say, oh, import export. And that is symptomatic of the kind of issues that really pervade international finance. It is not some so it's important to actually bring in checks and balances. At the very least, ensure that no international finance transaction can actually be passed through without it being entered in core banking. But there are also other solutions that will have to be identifiers of the firms that are borrowers that are doing this, and sharing of information on the international finance transactions with the regulator, so that the regulator can monitor regularly what is going on. These are some of the minimum aspects of supervision that will also be necessary to sort of ensure that this problem does not continue going forward.
Absolutely, Mr. Subramanian. Really appreciate you joining us and sharing those very informative insights with us on Bloomberg Quint. Now, moving on, Tata Steel posted a strong fourth quarter performance. The Mumbai-based steelmaker's profit rose to 10,190 crore rupees due to a one-time gain. Nikki Mirchandani joins us now. Nikki, what are the key highlights of Tata Steel's quarter four numbers?
Okay, just like JSW Steel, Tata Steel too has delivered an operational beat. A 10% beat is what we're looking at on the operational front. Clearly a good show coming in from the company. If you look at the Indian EBITDA performance, that almost improved by 3.8% sequentially. Notably, Oman business has registered an uptick of 78%. On consolidated basis level, we are looking at a good growth of 14% to a number of around 6,500 crore, which is way higher than I estimate. estimates. Also, if you look at the standalone EBITDA per ton, which is an important metric that we track for metal companies, that has risen 16% sequentially to a number of around 15,917 rupees. Now, that's in line with estimates. Also, as I just mentioned, last point, which is exceptional gain. Now, the company has reported an exceptional gain of around 11,376 crore on consolidated basis in this quarter due to restructuring of its UK pension scheme. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much for that, Nikki. Summing up Tata Steel numbers there. Some big political news coming in as we had expected. The governor has invited B.S. Yediyurappa to form the next government. That news coming in from Doordarshan right now. Governor Vajubhai Vala has made that decision, and now it will be up to B.S. Yediyurappa to show that he has the numbers. He needs 113 MLAs to form the next government. He has 104 right now. The whole question the entire day has been that how will B.S. Yediyurappa cough up those numbers and make that entire majority felt on the floor of the House. What we can also expect is, as the Congress has already indicated, that if the governor were to invite B.S. Yediyurappa to form the next government, they will move court. That could be the next point of news that you should be keeping an eye out for, because it is unlikely that the Congress will let this one go without a fight. Just to recap for you what's been happening so far, the Karnataka results, which were announced yesterday, threw up a hung verdict in which the BJP emerged as the single largest party with 104 seats, but they're short of the magic number, which is 113. The Congress and the JDS, meanwhile, together, along with one BSP MLA and one independent, claim to have 117 seats in what would be the next Karnataka Assembly. With that claim, they have met the Governor Vajubhai Vala today as well, hoping to stake claim. Now, this has been a story of two parallel claims being made by the BJP and the Congress and the JDS. The BJP saying that the vote in Karnataka was against the government there, which was the Congress government, and which is why they have the first right to stake claim, though by themselves they don't have the numbers. Now, there are a couple of scenarios which could take place over the next couple of hours, actually, because B.S. Yediyurappa may want to finish this entire situation and take oath as early as tomorrow. Remember, even before the results were announced, B.S. Yediyurappa had claimed in an interview that he would take oath as Chief Minister on the 17th of May. Will his wish come true? The governor's move has pushed him closer to success on that one. So one thing that could happen is that the BJP persuades a number of MLAs to abstain from any kind of vote of confidence, which will eventually have to take place, and which will bring the halfway mark required down to the requisite 104 that they have. That could be the case if the BJP gets some MLAs who are with the Congress and the JDS to resign and join forces with them. That could be another scenario that plays out, though they may attract the anti-defection law. So those are some of the things that could happen from now on. But on expected lines, Ayush, as expected, Governor Vajubhai Vala would have called the BJP to take oath,
on
and
May
he
17th.
has.
But the one I'm guessing this is something that now calls for a debate as well. We need to understand what these ramifications really are. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to have something that B.S. Yediyurappa, promised that he's going to do tomorrow. That's what he seems to be suggesting.
Absolutely. And in just a bit from now, we're going to go into that conversation with constitutional lawyers and political experts on what this move really means, because it has also become a question of how constitutional heads function. Remember, the question being raised about Vajubhai Vala is because he has been a BJP worker, a BJP party member, in fact, a BJP leader from Gujarat for several years. and which is why the question was being raised by the Congress and the JDS that will Vajubhai Wala act in terms of his constitutional position, or will he act in terms of a party member? Though there's no way of saying either way what has moved his decision, because he has precedents on both sides. There are several commissions, including the Sarkaria Commission, which recommends that in case of a hung assembly, the governor should call upon the largest pre-poll alliance, and in this case there was no pre-poll alliance, and failing that, they should call on the single largest party first to stake claim to form the next government. If that does not take place, then they should call the biggest post-poll coalition, which in this particular case would be the Congress and the JDS. But point to be noted that during the elections of Goa, Manipur and even Meghalaya to some extent, we had a similar situation where the Congress was the single largest party but did not end up forming the government. The governors in all of those cases chose to give the benefit of doubt to the largest post-poll coalition, which allowed the BJP in some form or fashion to be part of all of those governments. The Congress is going to effectively take that argument back to court. We will take a very short break and come back with the latest on that story with all of our guests. Don't go away.